Midpoints. A midpoint of a segment is halfway between the two endpoints. So let's draw a segment here. Let's say I have segment A, B. Okay, a midpoint, let's call it M. A midpoint is halfway between the two endpoints. So what it does is it divides the segment into two congruent, that means equal parts. Sometimes in geometry what we do is we mark, like let's say I mark this segment with 2 lines. I can mark this segment with 2 lines as well to say they're congruent. You can also use 1 line, 3 lines, right? But the idea is to make them the same. So these two segments, AM, right, and MB are congruent. They are equal. These two segments are the same length. So this length is the same as this length. The other piece to remember is that this length is half of the whole thing, right? Because if these two lengths are equal, then this length and this length will add up to the whole thing. Okay, so let's take a look how we can use that. M is the midpoint of segment AB. MB is 10. So always we label. Okay. Now, if we know that M is the midpoint of AB, there's a couple things we know. First of all, we know that if this is 10, and these two are congruent, right? This segment and this segment are congruent because this is halfway. So if this is 10, this must also be 10, right? AM is also 10. And then we know if this is 10 and this is 10, then the whole thing is going to add up to 20. Okay, so AB, the distance from A to B, is 20. Here's another example. E is the midpoint of DF. Okay, E is the midpoint of DF. DF, look, DF, that's the whole thing, is 8. What can we know? What do we know now? Well, if this whole thing is 8 and this is halfway, this is going to be half of 8 and this is going to be half of 8. So what's half of 8? What's 8 divided by 2? 4. This is going to be 4 and 4. So DE is 4 and EF is 4.